Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever the time is that you actually access this video. Just wanted to make a quick video of the RX assignment. So for those of you who are having some issues with it, here goes. So the RX assignment, if you click on it, it's going to look a little different on your screen, but I'm going to open it now and explain exactly what I expect of you. So you're going to research 2 commonly prescribed drugs visiting www.fda.gov and or www.usp.org or any other, suitable source. Then prepare a PowerPoint document. You're going to type up the PowerPoint, making sure that all of the following questions are answered in essay format. By that I mean, I don't want to see you, put question 1, what is the brand and generic name of each drug, and answer the question underneath it. That's not the way I want your PowerPoint to be done. So you can use bullet points. Just make sure these questions are a guide. They're not supposed to be seen in your PowerPoint like, question number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Not like that. So you're creating a PowerPoint presentation. You wouldn't create a PowerPoint presentation with questions in it. I'm sure you wouldn't. So you're going to just follow this format in terms of what questions need to be answered, but you don't want to put the questions in the actual PowerPoint. Okay? So you're going to make sure that for each drug that you select, that you answer each of these questions in your bullet point. So you can use bullet points or you can use whatever you want. Just make sure that you don't put the actual question in the PowerPoint. All right. Somebody asked also, when is this due? Now, the week was just opened on 9th. If you look at the syllabus tells you at the very top of the syllabus, when it says week 1, week beginning on date. So the date that the week begins is the date that you see there. That's not the due date for your assignments. Your due date is always the Sunday after of course, the Sunday at the end of the week. So if your week begins on the 19th, your assignments obviously cannot be due on the 19th. They're due 7 days from that, the following Sunday. Okay? So if you click on this assignment, you'll see that it says due on September 25th. That is the date that it is due. Another question also, somebody asked about the discussion board. Because of the way that the weeks fall in terms of assignments, I had to include a discussion board for this week. Typically, I don't allow discussion boards when there's another assignment due, but this time I had to, based on the fact that this is the fall term. And in the fall, because we're out for Thanksgiving and we're out for Christmas and we have the midterm and the final, things get a little bit crunched in terms of time, and we cannot, shove a whole bunch of information down your throats in anticipation of the time off. So we just have to do it. It has to be rolled out basically at the same time as your on-ground classes. So that's why this week you still have to do the discussion in addition to the RX assignment. Okay, so you're going to make sure that your PowerPoint includes all of this information, include the drug's therapeutic category, what does it do, what are the primary indications, route of administration, all of these things. You're going to make sure that everything that you answer about the drug, in whether bullet points or statements, however you do it, includes all of this information. All right, and then you're going to upload the information to Turnitin. Someone is asking me about Turnitin. Okay, so here goes. For Turnitin, if you go to course content, I'm going to try to slide this over here. On the left of your screen, if you click on course content, you will see at the very top, Turnitin login instructions. When you pull that up, oh boy, it's at the bottom of my screen now. Now I can't find it. Okay. There. So it looks a little different on the screen. Open. So when you pull it up, you will see your instructions for logging in to Turnitin. There is your login. You create a user profile, select student. This is your class ID. This is your password. Enter your NSU email address, and you should be able to select your own personal password and enroll in the class. Once you get there, you will see the Turnitin Dropbox. Okay? The Dropbox is already preset for you in terms of the due date. So if you have to submit it 24 hours before it's due, then make sure that by the 24th you submit your assignment. Otherwise, it's going to show up as late and Turnitin. You also need to get your report, your matching report from Turnitin. Someone was asking about what that is. That's your originality report. That comes back from Turnitin. And then you're going to submit that with your assignment. Now, the best way to do this when you're uploading your assignment to Turnitin because sometimes the boxes don't allow for large files and this is a PowerPoint, you may just save your slides as a Word document and then submit that in to Turnitin. Okay, you can do it as a PowerPoint. You just may run into issues. You know, sometimes some people's computers, for whatever reason, they get a problem with Turnitin submitting assignments like that. If that happens, you know, your best bet is just recreate you only have one chance to submit. So my best advice then is going to be just make a Word document of the entire text of your PowerPoint and submit that as your to submit it for Turnitin. It is set up so that it should not include any headings or any bibliographies. Make sure that you also include references there. If you include your references, sometimes that will give you a huge originality report score. I've set it up so it should not include those, but you know, things can happen with computer systems. After teaching online classes for a long time, if something's going to go wrong, it will, right? So sometimes Turnitin just may or may not allow you to upload the document in PowerPoint format. So just to prevent any issues, because you only get one chance to upload, create a Word document with your text and submit that. Okay, so that is the Turnitin directions, and it's in your course documents. Oh boy, how do I do this? Here we go. All right, now my screen is blank. Okay, so it's in course content on the left of the screen, course content with all of your assignments. The RX assignment blank script, you're going to actually write a prescription. You're going to type it in there, okay? So it's going to come up. Yeah, this thing just hides everything I pull up. So the blank document is going to come up looking like this. Okay? And you should be able to type in it. If you have a problem typing in it, print it out, handwrite it, scan it in. If you run into a problem, you should not, but again, different Word programs, if you don't have the updated Word program, you may not be able to type into it. So use the one on campus. The campus one should be updated. That's what I'm hoping. I'm not on campus, so I don't know which one of the Word programs they have running in the computers on campus, but hopefully it's an updated Word program and you can type directly onto the actual text, onto the actual script, and then you attach that also to your PowerPoint, so it's one whole document. Okay, let's see what else. Let me just see if there's anything else in here that I wanted to touch on. Of course, you're going to make sure you cite your references, upload your information to Turnitin, screen print the matching report and explain each individual match. There shouldn't be too much. There may be, because this is an assignment that has been done for this course already. So in the bank for this assignment, you may, you know, if you happen to choose a drug that someone else chose, or you just cut and paste from a website what the information says, then you're going to get a huge originality report score. For those of you who have never used Turnitin, then this is your baptism into it. Safe Assign is also in the course. So once you submit your document, you know, depending on how this works out, if everybody is able to log in, some students have had issues even creating a Turnitin account. We run into all kinds of problems sometimes with Turnitin. So depending on what your unique situation is, once you submit your document to the course, Safe Assign is going to run it and will provide me with a report. So if you don't submit it to Turnitin because you had some technical issue, not to worry, but it has to be because you had a technical issue and you have to explain that. All right, so we'll run it through Safe Assign, and then I'll know if there are any plagiarism issues, because we take that very seriously here at Nova. All right, so that should help you. I'm going to go ahead and upload this to YouTube and use it as a mashup, so it'll upload into your course, and then you'll have it to refer to. But just as a reminder, just make sure all of your assignments, when they're assigned in the week, but they're not due that week. Obviously, they can't be assigned and due the same day. Okay, so I'm going to click on the syllabus just for kicks. Okay, if you look at the syllabus for when assignments are due, you see week, start date, topic, and what assignments are due. So the start date of the week is the date that you see in this column here. It doesn't mean that your assignments are due that day. It means that is the start date of the week. Your assignments are due the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. as I stated before. So just make sure you make a note of that. People are calling me frantic or emailing me frantic. Oh, I thought the assignment was due today. I can't give you the assignment and expect you to have it ready the same day. That would be insane, yes? So all you have to do is just read sometimes. It's fundamental. This is a part of your training, okay? So those of you who never saw the movie Karate Kid, the first one, some of you might be too young for that, but go Google it or Netflix it, and you'll see where Mr. Miyagi takes the Karate Kid through a bunch of stupid things, like, washing a car and doing all this crazy stuff, but they were all lessons and training and preparing his body for combat. So wax on, wax off. So all of this is training you and preparing you. It looks mundane and it looks stupid, but there is a method to the madness. So reading is fundamental. You all are going to be healthcare professionals, and you're held to a higher standard than the rest of the population. In fact, you have people's lives in your hands. So just because it's a medical terminology course, you think, oh, it's just 3 credits, it's no big deal. But this is where you begin to learn. Okay, simple things like how to read a journal article. You have to read those things when you're in practice, in full practice, seeing patients. You have to take time to do your research, read journal articles, be able to make sense of what they're saying, determine from that article whether or not this material applies to your practice directly, and apply that information to how you work, because you're held responsible for what, for the standard of care. And if the standard of care begins to change and the literature shows that, and you don't update your practice to show that, somebody sues you, then guess what? You've lost. Okay, so all of this is a part of your training. So please read. I don't post announcements for my own benefit. They're for you. So when I post an announcement, read them. They're there for a reason. For those of you who could not get into the office hour, I mentioned that you have to use Firefox in order for it to work properly. If you did not upload Firefox, you will not be able to get into. If you're on Internet Explorer, you cannot get into the session because you have to be using Firefox. It seems to be the only one that it works on well. And I mentioned that. You also have to download Java. If you haven't downloaded Java plugins to or the entire program or the plugins necessary to run the office hour live chat, you will not be able to access it. Okay, so all of these things are important. When I post an announcement, read it. They're not there for fun. They're there to help you and prevent you from going through tearing your hair out or sending me frantic emails at 1 o'clock in the morning. All right, so hopefully this helps you out a little bit, and this should answer all the multiple questions I'm getting. Rather than sending individual emails, I'm going to post this so you can all listen and pay attention and kind of see. It's sometimes better to just hear the voice saying it versus you reading it on your own. All right, so good luck, and I'll see you all in the discussions.